Hello friends, welcome to the third video of our MATLAB course for beginners. My name is Sergio Castano, and in today's video we are going to learn how to make a script in MATLAB. We are going to learn how to debug our codes made in MATLAB. We have already become familiar with this important engineering tool, and we are going to continue learning these basic concepts of our software to reach a much more advanced level step by step. Again, if you have not seen the previous videos, here is the link to the playlist so you can start watching the course from the beginning. I invite you again to visit my page controlatum.coeducacionacute.com, which the link is in the description of this video. There you will find all the detailed information about what we are seeing in these videos on YouTube. So let's get started with the video. If you want, you can increase the speed of the video to make the explanation much faster or more dynamic. Well, friends, so in this third video we are going to continue familiarizing ourselves with the MATLAB work environment. We had already seen that in the Windows command we could place variables, for example, f equals 33, and we could also calculate L equals 424, which would give us the result. Here we see that every command line that we execute in the Windows command, it automatically performs the operation and stores the variable in the workspace or workspace. But in addition, the plus also offers us the option of repeating commands that we typed previously or even commands that we typed in the past when we ran this software. To access the commands that we had done in the past, we simply press the up key on the keyboard. Then, we press up and we can select the old command lines that we had done in MLA. For example, I want to enter this j equals a 2 plus 3, which was a command line that I entered previously, and I simply press enter and it brings up the j, gives me the result of 5 and stores it again in workspace. I can also view this command history here in the layout. I simply click on layout, and where it says command history, I'm simply going to say docket. So here the command history will appear, all the commands that I've entered in MATLAB. Then it will separate them by date. Here we see that the date is written between percentage signs. We're going to see that percentages are used in MATLAB to place comment. This means that MATLAB will take into account anything that begins with a percentage. MATLAB simply sees this and says, that's not code, so I'm not going to execute this. We simply use this to guide ourselves and understand what we were doing in that line of code. Here we see the command history. These are all the commands that I've entered. We see j equals 2 plus 3 equals 424, and these are all the commands that I entered today. And here we see another line of commands that I entered on July 30th. So, these were the commands that I did here today. And we see that the command history stores everything that I do here in the Windows command. Let's close this here. We simply click close here. You already know what the command line is for. We see that here in the Windows command, since we enter several operations, if I want to delete all those operations, we are going to use a command, a MATLAB function called CLC. CLC is simply used to clear the screen. If I press enter, we see that it effectively cleared the entire screen here in the command history, but we see that the variables continue to exist. If we look here in workspace, if I type j continues to exist with a value of 5. Obviously, if I type a value that does not exist here, let's say for example a, we see that a does not exist in workspace. If I press enter, it will give me an error. It tells me that the variable a is not defined because, of course, it is looking for it here in workspace and it does not see it because we have not created it again yet. So, if we click on CLC, we clear the screen and we can also clear the variables that are now stored. We simply type the clear command, and with that, all the variables that we had in workspace will be deleted. So if we now type the letter F, we will see that the letter F no longer exists and it will give us an error. It says that the function is undefined. In addition to this, then in the toolbar where it says new, we can create new files here in MATLAB, files such as script, functions, examples, classes, figures, applications. What we are going to focus on initially is creating scripts or functions. Let's create a script first. So, when we click on create a script, a window will open on top of the command windows. This window will be the script editor. A script is simply a file that we can create with all our codes in MATLAB. All the files that we are going to create here in MATLAB will always have the extension .m. So let's suppose that we create an example. Example 1, it will have the extension .m. Let's see how this is done. So here in the script we are going to place, as we had already said, we place comments with percentages, and here plus will interpret it. Since this is not code, this is only for the user. Here we are going to place some simple assignments. Let's say that a is ig. If we place a semicolon, let's remember that it is not going to display that in the common windows. So we see that here on the screen we simply made 3 assignments. A equals 2, B equals 3, and C equals 5. Nothing new, we had already seen it. So, for this script to simulate in +la, we must save it. We save it and we must give the script a name. By default it will be stored in the current folder or in the current folder, which we remember was in my documents and +la. So, for now we are going to give it a simple name. In another video I will explain what the rules are for placing names in +la. For the moment we are only understanding that it is a script. We put example1 as the name and we click save. So we see that this script is called example1, and if we look here where it says current folder, example1 will appear. Here in current folder, if you click here on the arrow, I always put it in group by and I group by type. So I always group it by type. You can group it however you want. So here it groups all the functions here. So, these are functions that we are going to learn to program. It groups all the scripts here. Here all the scripts and here all the different files. For example, here a WinRAR and here a simulan, which we will see later so that the simulan works. Returning then to our first script, we had saved these three variables a, b and c since it already has a name here. Then it has a button called simulate run. So, if we click run, it will simulate and we see that it effectively sent the three variables to the workspace with their respective value. And we see that in the command window it only showed me a and it showed me b and that it didn't show me c because we had placed a period and so on. So, if we can close the mesh and we already have our code here, for example, let's close the screen. If we are going to close it and continue another day, then we simply open our script, which is our program, and there our program will be ready to run and do what we needed. Something else interesting to do in the script is, for example, to debug the code to know where there are errors. So, let's suppose that we are going to create a variable f here and we are going to do an operation with these variables that we have here. Let's simply say that in f I want to save the sum of the three variables, a plus b plus c, and I am not going to put a semicolon, simply so that it shows me the result. If I hit run, it will quickly show me the result here. F equals 10 and it sets f equal to 10 here. Let's suppose that I want to test what the code does step by step. So, here where the line of code we are executing is, we can place this red circle that is known as a breakpoint. So, when I give it a breakpoint and hit run, I'm going to hit run and it will stop there. So, up until now, it has stopped here and has only assigned variable a2. So I can then run the code and here I will get the options to debug the code. So, I can tell it to run it step by hitting step. So, it executes the next option. It has already assigned variable b to 3. I can hit step. There I assign 5 to variable c and hit step. I assign the sum to variable f, so that's how I'm going to fix the code. This is simply to show you what other options we have in MLAM. So we're going to talk about this more calmly. So the important thing was that you understood what the script is for, since we're going to use it a lot in our course. There you go, friends. That's all for today's video. I think we've at least covered all the windows that the software has. Now we're going to go into detail about how MATLAB's functions work and understand how this powerful engineering tool is going to help us develop and understand all the phenomena that we're going to encounter in our careers. Leave me a comment on the video, tell me what you want to use MATLAB for, what careers you're studying, and don't forget to like and share it, and I'll see you in the next video. You can follow me on my social networks, subscribe to my channel by clicking on my photo and activating the notification bell, and don't forget to watch the next video.